If you're looking for real ways to make extra money, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know, so stick around until the end. Let's get started.
Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. You know, if you've been watching the massive explosion of artificial intelligence over the last couple of years, you've probably caught yourself wondering how regular people, without advanced computer science degrees, are making real location-independent money from it. Well, today, we are unpacking the complete roadmap to doing exactly that. We're going to break down the highly lucrative world of data annotation and model evaluation. So grab a notebook because we are diving into exactly what this work involves, the skills you need, where to find the absolute best platforms, and how you can actually scale this into a serious income stream or even a small business. Stick around because by the end of this explainer, you'll have a literal day-by-day action plan to get started. Okay, let's dive right into this. How do you actually cash in on this boom? Well, to answer that, we need to completely reframe how you think about AI. See, every single tech giant and startup is racing to build the absolute smartest models out there, but there is one massive hurdle they just can't code their way out of. Any guesses? It's human judgment. AI models are absolutely desperate for high-quality human feedback. Right now, human judgment is the bottleneck. These tech companies are sitting on massive, massive budgets, just waiting on everyday people to teach their models how to think, how to write, and how to see. You are the solution to that bottleneck, and that right there is exactly the gap you're selling into. So before we look at where the big money is, let's establish the foundational difference between the two main types of work you'll be doing. First up, there's data annotation. This is all about labeling raw data, like images, text, audio, or video, so an AI can learn from it. Think about, drawing bounding boxes around cars in a picture, or tagging whether a tweet is angry or happy. Then there's model evaluation. This is a major step up. It involves testing and rating a model's actual outputs to guide its improvement. You might be doing side-by-side comparisons of two different AI responses, writing out super detailed feedback on why one is better, or intentionally trying to break the AI, which is a process called red teaming. It's highly judgment-based work, and as you'll see in a minute, that judgment really, really pays off. Now look, while anyone can log on and click a button for pennies, truly scaling your income requires some specific skills. If you have native fluency in a high-demand language, like, say, German or Japanese, you immediately command a premium. But the real game changer here, it's domain knowledge. If you have any kind of background in medicine, law, coding, finance, or STEM, listen closely, because domain-specific projects pay 2 to 5 times more than general tasks. Strong writing and analytical skills are also absolutely crucial, especially when you're evaluating complex model responses. Knowing a few technical basics, like a little bit of JSON or Markdown, helps you avoid getting your work rejected, and honestly, it shouldn't intimidate you. They're super easy to pick up. But above all the rest, you need meticulous, laser-focused attention to detail. Now, what's really interesting about this tier system is how clearly it maps out your earning potential. You can literally see how the tasks and the pay scale up. Down at the bottom, we've got basic micro-tasks. Simple clicks, category selections. It's easy, sure, but the pay totally reflects that. As we move up through general annotation and content generation, you'll see the pay increases. But look at those top 2 tiers. Advanced model evaluation involves really complex reasoning about things like safety and bias. And at the very top, the expert tier, you have specialists doing things like labeling tumors in MRI scans or reading complex legal contracts. That is the sweet spot. That is exactly where you want to aim your career trajectory. So where do you actually find this work? Well, your easiest entry points are the big, established crowd platforms like Appen, TELUS International, and Remote Tasks. The typical flow here is pretty straightforward. You sign up, fill out a profile, pass a qualification test, and boom, you start a project. Appen is fantastic for long-term search engine evaluation projects. TELUS is incredibly reliable, and actually, in some countries, they even offer W-2 employment rather than just independent contractor status, which is a nice perk. Remote Tasks might start you out with slightly lower pay, but it offers a super fast start for beginners who just want to build up their resume quickly. All right, once you've cut your teeth on those entry-level sites, it's time to step up to the big leagues, direct model evaluation platforms. These offer significantly higher pay, but, and this is a big but, they are much harder to get into. Platforms like dataannotation.tech are huge on writing and reasoning tasks. They are looking for extremely crystal clear explanations from you. Scale AI and Outlier handle massive, massive volumes of reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. Because the pay is so much better here, you absolutely must treat their initial qualification assessments like a serious final exam in college. Study the instructions. Speed is secondary. Accuracy is literally everything. As you start getting accepted onto these platforms, it is so critical that you shift your mindset. You've got to stop thinking per task and start thinking per hour. It is way too easy to fall into the trap of mindless grinding. Think about it. If a task pays 10 cents and you somehow manage to blast through 60 of them in an hour, you're only making $6 an hour. You need to track your time meticulously. Once you calculate your true hourly rate, you'll know exactly when a project is just no longer worth your energy and when it's time to graduate to those judgment-based tasks that naturally command a much higher hourly rate. And eventually, you'll want to stop relying on platforms altogether and cut out the middleman entirely. Here is a perfect blueprint for cold outreach on LinkedIn. You just search for AI project managers or machine learning engineers at startups and send them something exactly like this. I'm a professional data annotator specializing in medical NLP. I noticed you're working on a clinical entity recognizer. Can I help with annotation or evaluation? It's brilliant. It's direct. It highlights a specific niche, and it offers immediate, tangible value. This is exactly how you land direct, highly profitable freelance clients. If you combine those higher-tier platforms with a direct client or two, things start to get very real very fast. $2,300. That is a highly realistic monthly income figure for someone treating this as a serious craft, working part-time hours right from the comfort of their home. This isn't some shady get-rich-quick scheme. It's the natural result of building a scaled-up, multi-stream week. So let's actually break down exactly how you reach that specific number. Let's look at the math in action here. In a typical high-earning week, you might spend, say, 10 hours doing complex RLHF tasks on a platform like dataannotation.tech at $25 an hour. Okay, that's $250. Then, maybe you spend another 10 hours on a steady app-in project evaluating search results at $15 an hour. That's another $150. Finally, you spend just 5 hours doing custom entity tagging for a direct health tech client you landed on LinkedIn at $35 an hour, bringing in $175. So that's $575 a week for just 25 hours of work. Multiply that out, and it adds up to roughly $2,300 a month. Pretty amazing, right? But look, as with any remote work, there are some serious career killers you have got to avoid. Listen closely to this part. Never, ever pay upfront money to join a platform. Ever. Those are scams, plain and simple. We've already talked about avoiding the mindless grind on those low-paying tasks. Also, remember you are mostly acting as an independent contractor, so you absolutely must set aside 25 to 30% for taxes right off the bat. But the absolute biggest threat to your income? Poor quality scores. If you fail quality audits, platforms will simply stop sending you work. So read the instructions twice, do a test batch, study your feedback obsessively, protect your reputation at all costs. Now, let's say you've totally mastered the work, your quality scores are absolutely perfect, and you suddenly have more direct client work than you can physically handle. Well, it is time to scale beyond yourself. Welcome to the boss level, the micro-agency model. This is the exact moment where you stop trading your own precious time for money and you start building a real, scalable business asset that works for you. Building a micro-agency requires a very specific sequence. Step 1, secure steady work from 1 or 2 direct clients who really trust you. Step 2, hire 2 to 5 trusted annotators. Maybe these are people you've met in the annotation community or vetted carefully on Upwork. Step 3, and pay attention because this is the most critical one, build a strict quality control layer. You review a sample of their work to ensure client specs are met perfectly. You can actually use tools like Label Studio to manage this whole workflow seamlessly. Finally, step 4, charge the client a project-based fee, pay your annotators fairly, and you keep the margin for your management and QA work. When you execute that micro-agency model effectively, the financial ceiling completely lifts. $15,000. Even a small agency, managed right from your laptop with just 2 to 3 solid, consistent direct clients, can generate up to $15,000 per month. You are essentially monetizing your ability to guarantee high-quality human judgment at scale. It's a total game changer. So the crucial point is knowing how to start, like, right now. You wanted a plan to start earning, and here is your cheat code, a completely time-bound roadmap. Today, go sign up for Appen or Tellus and complete their starter assessments. Just get it done. This week, power through your first 100 tasks and study the feedback you get really carefully. This month, once you understand the rhythm of the work, create an Upwork profile that focuses on a clear niche, like legal or medical data. And finally, in 3 months, seek out direct clients in your domain on LinkedIn. You can absolutely do this. Remember, the algorithms can only go so far on their own. Every single AI model out there right now, every new chatbot, every self-driving car, every medical scanner, is essentially an unfinished product just waiting on human judgment to become market ready. Your judgment is an absolutely irreplaceable asset, and it is just waiting to be monetized. You have the roadmap, you know the platforms, so what will your first move be today?
And that's a wrap. If you found this helpful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find this content. Subscribe so you don't miss our next video, and check out the one on the screen right now. It might be exactly what you need next. See you there.